welcome to the show. You are here with Erica L. Harper. I am a licensed professional counselor. I'm a personal trainer, sex therapist, and most importantly, I am your sexual performance coach, where I am helping you to have the best sex of your life. Today is going to be an awesome show. We are going to talk about BDSM. Now, BDSM kind of has it's an acronym, but it stands for a couple of different things here. So we're talking about BD, DS, and SM. So it stands for bondage, discipline, dominant, submissive, and sadism, masochism. A lot of us in our everyday lives, we actually perform a lot of this stuff. It's actually, when you think of BDSM, also kink is rolled in there as well. And so today I just want to talk to you about some of the ways that people do BDSM. And also, like I said, like I always say, normalize the things that you're going through so that you know that you are not the only person out there that likes it kinky. What are some of the things that you think of when you think of BDSM? So one of the first thoughts that come to your mind is probably a dominatrix. Yeah, that's part of BDSM. There's a lot of, you hear about dungeons and things like that. And in particular, the second thing that probably comes to your mind would actually be 50 Shades of Grey. It sold out a lot of copies of the book, and a lot of those were being bought by just ordinary, everyday soccer moms, things like that. So it lets you know that people want excitement, people want passion, people want oomph in their sex lives. But the only thing is, when you think about BDSM and when you think about what the roles were depicted as in 50 Shades of Grey, a lot of people get really upset, and rightfully so. Even as a sexologist, although the books were, great for reading, you have to be able to separate that from the actual practice of BDSM. But when you're talking about BDSM versus what's in there, basically that was a very unhealthy relationship. That was all about, beating somebody and things like that. And actually, that's not what BDSM is about. I digress. That's the more heavy BDSM. But what about the BDSM that you practice in your everyday life? So what about things like spanking? What about things like, bondage, handcuffs? There's a feeling of exhilaration knowing that, you can't get away. It's the first thing, just be safe. We want to explore sex, we want to have fun with sex, we want to be adventurous with sex, but we don't want to be stupid with sex. But this little thing right here is kind of cool because it's rubber, and it can be used for a couple different things. It looks like it hurts, sounds like it hurts, but it's really pretty benign. So you're not going to really hurt each other, but just the little bite from it when you're in the middle of maybe some sort of erotic, scene or some sort of erotic position or something like that, or maybe you're blindfolded and your lover kind of does that whole thing to you, or hits you on your butt or whatever, or maybe runs it across your face. This could be something that really, just kind of ups the tempo with your sex play. So enough about me. You've looked at me long enough here. Let's go ahead and talk to people on the streets, because I want to see what it is that you do that's considered kinky or that you think is kinky. So follow me. Let's go. BDSM. Now, do you know what that stands for? BDSM.
BDSM. No. What does BDSM stand for?
Okay, so it stands for bondage, discipline, dominance, submission.
Okay. That's my
Sadism.
Christian Grey type stuff. All right. I read some books, honey.
Exactly. So do you know what it is?
It's like rough sex with a lot of toys and a lot of intimacy.
Okay.
Involving like the five senses rather than just straight contact, just straight intercourse.
Okay, what's one of the things that you think of when you think of, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of BDSM?
Tying a lot of ties and ropes.
Yeah.
I know what kinks are, but I don't.
Okay, what's kink?
Like some people have a foot fetish. Some people like certain things that people call taboo.
Right. So some of the things that you would think of are like you said foot fetishes. Yeah. You're talking about kink fetishes fit into that.
Oh, I seen that on some site. I don't think that's. How does that make you feel good? Like pain? Kink? Yeah, you talking about, right?
That's part of it.
I mean, the webs and the whole sex is supposed to be pleasurable.
Well, since like I've like read all like the 50 Shades of Grey books, so I kind of like know what they're talking about. I haven't seen the movie, but that's pretty much how I relate to it. I think of like just the book or whatever. I mean, I haven't done any of that stuff, but
Off the top of your head, when you think BDSM, what do you think?
I just think that you're gonna maybe put something in my mouth and whoop me and make me call you ma'am.
Okay. All right. So you're thinking more so of the like dominatrix, like somebody dominating you and things like that. That's part of it.
Gotcha.
Stuff. So, what are some things that are like BDSM related that normal people can do?
Lips, handcuffs.
Like, gauges and, those.
Gauges.
Yeah,
There we go.
I like
See?
gauges.
So y'all don't know about gauges. I want to have one on one of my other shows.
Hello. Like the nipple here. Or
Yeah, nipple clamps.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I feel like that would just look. I think I'm getting a little sexual too much right now.
But okay. What about you?
I like to beat people, so I wouldn't want nobody beating me.
People having fetishes. Role playing. Yeah, that can fall into it.
Or a man, 2 women.
Okay. All right. A man and 2 women. Okay, like a threesome, menage a trois.
Correct, or being choked or,
Yeah. And actually that's a pretty, again, a lot of people like that temporary, like, in the middle of the, so as long as you're doing it with, exactly. As long as you're doing it with somebody who you trust. What is it that, you like by way of kink?
Oh my God, I gotta say this. Slightly being choked. Slightly, not till I'm out of it or anything like that, but like, for a minute.
She's real dumb than I am. Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's the more dominant in your relationship, right? Okay.
But I mean, it's okay.
Okay, yeah. And that works for you, right?
Yeah.
And that's normal from you. As long as you guys are enjoying your
Being
sexual
together,
experience,
right.
That's the only thing that matters.
That's right.
Things with people. Like, why do you think people like that?
that's a good question. Maybe because it is different and it's maybe a taboo. So not a lot of people do it.
Right.
It's exciting, but yet it's kind of like, are we supposed to do this?
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of that brings fun.
Right.
In itself.
Almost like the danger.
Yeah.
Like,
Right. It's so
ooh,
risky.
Am I supposed to be doing that?
Exactly. I know.
Okay. Hello, everybody. We're back, and as you can see, again, the part of what I do with this show when I take you to the streets, it's all about we talk to some people and it's silly and we laugh and everything, but the reason that I want to talk to normal everyday people, just kind of walking through the city, my great city of Cleveland, is that I want to portray, or I want to make sure that you guys understand that everything and anything that you've thought about sex and sensuality and all that stuff is normal. And I want you to have an outlet so that you can say, okay, this is okay for me to feel that way. This part is all about me introducing some sort of sex toy. And so why not bring out the bondage stuff? Now, if you look here, okay, we have kind of it's not meant to be flexible. It's actually very rigid. This part here, okay, and if you can see on the ends, there are these Velcro straps. And of course, right here too, these two are also Velcro straps. But here's how they work. And I know I'm not gonna get into them completely, but basically you have your lover, put your arms in here. And then of course, these parts are gonna be for your ankles. And so you can imagine the position that you're in once you really have all of these affixed to where they go. And so, I mean, so it's really face down, butt up when you're in these. But it's fun because you can't go anywhere. It gives you that sense of excitement. But again, though, we want to make sure that with things like these, you want to be safe. You want to make sure that you trust that person because, you know, the last thing you want is to be violated. And I do want to make that clear. Okay, so here's my call of action for you. I want you to do this, and this is for especially those who are novices at BDSM, but maybe, you know, after hearing this, after seeing this, you know, they want to do a little something, not sure how quite to initiate it. Start out with something that's not too scary. You don't want to tell your partner after just you listening to this, hey, I want to go down to the neighborhood dungeon. Your partner's probably not gonna go for that. But you can do little things, and little things that aren't expensive. You don't necessarily have to have a red room of pain, like on 50 Shades of Grey. So again, start with some handcuffs, and a blindfold, okay? Even things like tying having your partner tie your feet, or you can actually be the person doing this to someone else. But those are a couple of small things that you can do. Also, another thing here, make sure that when you're introducing these, that you are doing it not in the middle of sex. Gosh, don't suggest things that are so out of the box in the middle of sex. This is going to be catastrophic to the sex that you are having. I promise it's going to be, because that person is going to think that they're not doing a good job, and that's why you are suggesting stuff. So it's all of, so the planning and the foreplay and all that stuff that goes into texting, the calling, the, hey, this is what I'm gonna do to you tonight. That's the stuff that makes that sex fiery, that makes that sex hot. So those are all things that you can do in order to make your scene awesome.
Okay, so we're talking about things like, what about handcuffs?
Nah.
No handcuffs?
No, I have a fear that they might cuff me and leave me there for something I might have said.
Okay. Right. Not for everybody.
I don't mind cuffing somebody, but ain't nobody cuffing me.